Hey everybody, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to pick up where we left off last time, taking a look at my non-80s Slashers Horror Blu-Ray Collection. So if you haven't already checked it out, you can find part one of this video on my channel. I will link to it below in the description, and again, I'll put a link at the end of the video as well. But yeah, let's just get into to looking at the rest of my horror Blu-rays. So first up, we have Hellraiser. Um, I'm not a Hellraiser fan. Now this is the only film in the franchise that I've seen, and if I come across, I hear part two is good, and some of the other ones are not so great. But if I ever come across them, I'll probably check them out. But this type of horror just isn't for me. Like I don't know. I like my horror just a little more. I don't know. More believable, not so much on the fantasy or like the really really heavy supernatural stuff. But I appreciate this for what it is. Some really good gore effects, and Pinhead was barely in this film, but he is a cool villain. But I don't know. It's probably a franchise I need to give some more time to. But yeah, I don't know. Not for me. Ah. Alright, next up we have The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, this is a fun one. Yeah, this is just earlier Wes Craven type film. It's kind of a slasher, backwoods hillbilly cannibal type of thing, survival. There's a whole bunch of elements in this, but this is really good, especially for like an earlier film. It's earlier horror film in Craven's catalog. This is a really good one. I really really enjoy this one. Yeah, so The Hills Have Eyes. All right. Next up we have Hostel Part 1 and Part 2. Um I like the Hostel films. I think they're fun. There's obviously some like over the top, I guess people call it torture porn type of horror. Some just gratuitous violence. But I kind of like them. There's a good setup to these films. Like I like the Eastern European setting. Um, it just, I don't know, something about these, just the feel of these films. Like when you don't even take into consideration like the violence and the stuff that these are known for. um, just kind of like the setting and just like the premise of this, like the ultra rich, getting these tourists to show up so they can basically torture them and do terrible things and kill people and pay people to do it. It's kind of a unique premise. So yeah, I like these films. Like they're fun. They're fun films. All right. All right. I Spit on Your Grave. This is the original from 1978. I love this film. This film is fantastic, aka Day of the Woman. This is your quintessential rape revenge horror film. Lead character gets gang raped by a bunch of backwoods guys at small town where she went to vacation, and she nurses herself back to health and hunts them down one by one and kills them, um, in some cases in very horrific ways. If you've seen this, the scene in the bathtub, when she gets the guy in the bathtub, oh man, um, it just gives me nightmares. Just what a scene! It's a great scene, and it's just, yeah. There's a lot of this. This is a tough film to watch because the rape scene is really long. Um, it's pretty brutal, but this is a good one. This is there's not too many films like this. Yeah, if you've never seen I Spit on Your Grave, definitely check it. They've made like a reboot of this, and then the reboot got like a couple sequels. Yeah, but like it's tough to beat the original. There's like a certain charm or a certain, I don't know, graphic realism to this one. It's yeah, this is good. I love I Spit on Your Grave. Definitely check it out if you haven't. if you haven't seen it. Alright, so we have the Insidious. I only have the first two. I think there's four of them. There's definitely three. There might be a fourth one. I think there is a fourth one. I've only seen this. I haven't gotten around to checking out part two yet. I really liked this one. It's been a while, so I almost feel like I need to rewatch this before I get around to watching this. But yeah, every time there's like creepy kids and stuff, it really kind of freaks me out. I like that element. Good cast. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's kind of like a possession, but it's like a kid's possessed, but then kind of the house is possessed. I think this has Lynn Shay. Is Lynn Shay in this? It's been so long. Yeah, Lynn Shay's in it, so she's always super creepy in in these type of films. She's probably in this one too. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the Insidious films, they're fun. I hear like all of them. The third and fourth one are good as well, so I'll have to check those out. But yeah, those are fun. Good modern type horror films. All right, it's a classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is the why it's not the original. The original was back in the 50s, I think. This is from 70. What's it from? 78 or 6, I want to say. I can't see. 78. Yeah. Yeah, Donald Sutherland. Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy. Great cast, really fun. Um, yeah, this is just a classic. There's a lot of a lot of films have taken inspiration from this. It's yeah, Invasion of the Body. This is a classic. Really like it. Really really fun film. All right, we have It, the original mini TV mini series, Stephen King's It. This was good. This is everyone's more familiar nowadays with the you know the remakes, the two film remakes, which are great. They're like really scary, like kind of different. This is scary, but it's not as dark and as I don't know. This kind of follows the book pretty good. Like, obviously it's made for TV, so the book was pretty dark. But I liked this. I liked the made for TV. Like fantastic cast. John Ritter, Tim Reed, uh, Harry was it Harry Anderson from Night Court? Yeah, Harry Anderson. Annette O'Toole. Yeah, this is a good one. I like the It miniseries. Then after It, of course, we have It Follows. Um, yeah, this is another really really good recent horror film. This one caught on fire. This got a lot of talk within the horror community when it first came out. Really good idea, simple concept. There's like a presence that's clings to its victims and it gets passed when they have sex with each other. So if it's attached to one person. So if he has sex with a girl, the entity or the whatever it is gets attached to the girl, and then it's stuck with her, and they keep trying to get close, and they keep following them around and get closer and closer, and the only way to get rid of it is to have sex with someone else, but then you're knowingly passing it off. And yeah, it's a unique, really good concept film. It kind of has like an 80s feel to it, actually. It's really styled after like an 80s. It has like a soft, just like the cinematography of it is really soft, and like a glowing light, like it's kind of like dreamlike. It's really good. If you haven't seen It Follows, definitely check it out. It's yeah, really good. Really good film. Yeah, all right. Next up, we have a classic, Jaws, and as you can see, this is the Canadian version, which just drives me crazy. A cover like this, it should just be Jaws. Like, anyway, whole other topic. Um, yeah, Jaws. What do I have to say about this? This is one of the most iconic uh, horror films ever made. Um, you know, Early Steven Spielberg. Yeah, just everyone's seen Jaws. It's a classic. I know there's a lot better version. This is out on 4K now, and there's actually more upgraded versions. This is like a really cheap low end version, but it looks fine. And this is the only one I have. I want Jaws 2, 3 and 4. But I don't I hate this so much that I'm just gonna wait until I can find like an American copy of it, which isn't hard. I can get it online somewhere on eBay or whatnot. But ah, that really drives me crazy. Yeah, all right. Jeepers Creepers. Um, yeah, this is yeah, what's this? Early 2000s. It's like 2000, 2001, something like that. 2001. I like Jeepers Creepers. This film started off. The beginning of this film is fantastic. It's really good. I it's not a bad ending. It's just the ending kind of it really. My issue with this film is that it starts off. You think it's just like a regular regular horror film with a regular horror villain, but by the end of it, it turns to like a supernatural thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of supernatural horror. It would have been cooler if the killer was just a straight up lunatic, but yeah, it's still good. It's still really good. Justin Long he's always good, and he's good in this. And yeah, Jeepers Creepers. I haven't seen. I think there's three of them now. I haven't seen part two or three. I may have seen part two when it first came out a long time ago. I don't have it. I don't remember it. I definitely haven't seen part three. Yeah, Jeepers Creepers is a good one. It's fun. All right. The Last Exorcism. This is another cheap one that I picked up. I think when HMV Canada was going out of business for $1. This was actually pretty good, to be honest. It's yeah, Eli Roth is involved in this. Um, Yeah, you know what? This was pretty good. It's about like this preacher who's like a con man who pretends he does like exorcisms, and he makes a career out of kind of being a con man. But then he gets called to an actual case where a young girl is actually possessed by the devil. And at first he doesn't believe it, and he's gonna start doing his sleight of hand, his tricks to try to fool people. But then he realizes that it's an actual, like, she's actually possessed, and it goes from there. And it's there's some these exorcism type movies, like you can see here, like the body convulsion type horror. Like when the body does really weird twisted things, it really freaks me out. And there's a few of that in this. This one, this is pretty good. It's one I got, and I'm like, I guess I'll watch it. So I just threw it in one night, and yeah, it was check this out. If you ever come across it for cheap, it's a good freaky watch. Yeah. All right, and another Wes Craven. This is, I think, his first feature film. Last House on the Left. Again, a rape revenge horror film. Yeah, this is great, man. This is like really low budget, really raw, really gritty. There's some really graphic scenes. Yeah, this is just yeah, like this is great, man. David Hess, yeah, right there. David Hess is like he's one of the best all-time horror villains of all time. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but none more iconic than his role in this. Um, Man, this is just like a group of people rape rape this girl, and they the family of the girl kind of runs into the rapist and invite them in their house, and it just goes from there. It's like a cat and mouse game, and they turn the tables on the rapist, and there's some really graphic stuff here. It's a pretty visceral film. Pretty surprising when you think of like Wes Craven doing like the Friday the 13th and some of his later 80s and 90s output. This is quite a different type of horror film. And actually, Sean Cunningham is one of the producers on this. This is one of his first produce. It might be his first film, of course, who directed the original Friday the 13th. So fantastic pedigree. Yeah, Last House on the Left is really good. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. All right, we have Leatherface. This is one of the films in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. This is like I said, an origin story. I liked this. I think there's mixed reviews on this, but I thought this was pretty good. You go into it not knowing who Leatherface is. Like there's a group, a gang of people, you know, it's kind of like a road trip. They're going across country creating havoc and violence. And you don't really know who which character is Leatherface, and it plays out. So there's kind of like a mystery element to it, but it's really there's a lot of gritty violence. Um, yeah, and it's kind of I don't know I thought it was really good. So yeah, if you ever get a chance, check Leatherface out. You know, it's you know it's not your typical Texas Chainsaw film. Like I said, it feels a little different. But you know, it's an origin story, and they're kind of you know it's a modernized origin story. So take it for what it is. But I liked this. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. All right. So the next one here, um, this is a this is a horror pack exclusive called Live Scream. This is an interesting one. Horror pack limited edition Blu-ray. How to explain this? I don't know, like, if you have this, you got it in the horror pack. You can probably find this on eBay. I don't know where else you would pick it up unless people are selling it. I liked this. It's not very long. Basically, this guy gets sent he's like a video game streamer, like Twitch kind of thing, you know? And he gets sent a mysterious game. I think it might be called, is it called Live Scream? I can't remember what the game is called. It might be called Live Scream. And he's like, all right, I don't know what this game is. And he goes and he starts playing the game, you know, with people watching him live. And as people die in the game, the people watching him are the people actually getting killed. And he starts to realize that he has to play, or all his friends and followers are actually dying. And so it turns into it's a weird concept. But the whole movie is basically looking at him and his computer screen. That's it. So it's like you know when on the Twitch you had the little box in the top corner of him, and then the rest of the game it's like a dungeon crawler type, choose your own adventure type game. And if he makes the wrong decisions, you know people watching him start dying. It's interesting. It's fun. I like it. You know, it's very low budget. There's nothing unique about it, but there's a couple cool moments, couple cool, you know, for what they can do for that type of filming of a movie. Yeah, if you can find it for a good price, it's you know, I recommend it. I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun, unique, very unique. All right, I've talked about this next film in one of my videos past, Lost After Dark, and you thought the '80s were dead. This is retro '80s done right. Retro '80s. Sorry. This is basically the filmmaker's attempt to make an '80s slasher. Um, the film is set in the '80s. All the characters are dressed in, you know, 80s attire. They're acting like 80s actors. The film is structured like an 80s slasher, follows the same formula. It's great. It's like for someone like me, this film is fantastic. Anybody who watches this channel and likes 80s slashers, and if you haven't heard of this film or haven't seen this film, like you have to check it out. Now, did they pull it off 100%? Like, does it feel exactly like an 80s slasher? No. You know, there's problems with the film, you know, because I think they got too far down the rabbit hole to, you know, they kind of painted themselves in a corner sometimes, you know. So, but you know what? Who cares? It's such a valiant attempt at making an 80s slasher film, and I love it. I love this film because it's just so fun. It has all the '80s tropes. It's great, you know. All the characters, all the guy characters, their first names are named after like famous directors. Like one's called Sean after Sean Cunningham. One is called Wes after Wes Craven. And what's the other guy's name? Toby after Toby Hooper. And the three girls, one is named what's their names? I think it's um, I'm drawing a blank. One is Marilyn, after you know Marilyn Burns, actress from Texas Chainsaw. One is named what's the other? Oh, one is Nancy, after you know, or is it no Heather? Is that no? Yeah, Nancy's character from Nightmare, Heather. So it's the actual actresses that play them, and the actress that played Alice from Friday the 13th. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Maybe her real name is Alice. I think her name is Alice. Oh, and a girl named Jamie, of course, for Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyway, besides the point, they were really going all in on this 80s slasher and then, the retro 80s, or retro slasher theme. So definitely check it out. It's fun. It has some good kills. There's actually a really surprising moment. Usually follows the typical 80s slasher formula, but they throw a curveball halfway through, which is really cool. I didn't see it coming. So, pretty memorable moment. So, yeah, Lost After Dark. Definitely check that one out. Alright, here's another horror pack film I got. Yeah, horror pack limited edition. It's, number 38. This has Brad Dourif. That's like the selling point. This was okay. Mad scientist, evil doctor, injects a patient with, I don't know, some drug, and he's trying to escape him, and he's trying to catch him, and it's I can't even remember exactly what it is now. Anyway, he basically turns his patient into an experiment, and it's he's trying to survive, and it's a whole thing. It's all right. It was kind of forgettable, obviously, 'cause I can't remember too much about it. It was all right. So enough of that one. All right. Yeah. Maybe I should do this here. I may do this. All right. So this is Maniac. This is the modern remake of Maniac, starring Elijah Wood. And boy, oh boy, is this good. If you haven't seen this, again, this is a remake of an 80s slasher, so it's tailor-made for us. I friggin' loved this film. Man, this, you know what? I might like this better than the original. They're different, obviously. But man, I enjoyed this. This really captures, from the viewpoint of a serial killer, played by Elijah Wood. When I first heard of this, I'm like, Elijah Wood is taking on the role of Joe Spinell. It just didn't make sense, but he is fantastic. He's super creepy, super scary. He does it really good. The violence in this film is so visceral and so real, man. And I'll tell you what, when you hit play on this film, I almost guarantee you, before the credits roll that says Maniac, you'll have a big smile on your face, and you're going to say, I am going to love this film. Because there's an introductory scene, and when the introductory scene ends, and it says, Maniac, I promise you'll have a smile on your face, and you'll be like, all right, I'm in. I'm ready for this film. It's fantastic. So, definitely check out Maniac, the remake. It's fantastic. From a super serious, super graphic craze. I don't even know why this is in this pile, but I'll show it anyway. This is kind of embarrassing, but Mega Python versus Gatoroid. I guess this is horror. I don't know. Maybe it's sci-fi. I don't know. Debbie Gibson and Tiffany. So it fits the theme. We got some 80s pop stars. This is exactly what you think it's gonna be. It's a sci-fi. Like the Asylum type of film. Yeah, it's Mega Python versus Gatoroid. Yeah, that's it. All right, Midnight Movie. Now this is one that kind of surprised me. This is a slasher film. It takes place in a movie theater, which is fantastic. And it's really cool. It's kind of meta. Like a group of friends go to a movie to watch a horror movie, and the killer kind of comes out of the movie, and and they're kind of in the movie, so they're watching. So if somebody is watching the movie, and they're like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. So they get up and they go to the bathroom. So their friends are staying watching the movie, and the movie that they're watching is showing the killer going into the bathroom, and all of a sudden they see their friend, and the killer kills their friend. They're like, what the hell is going on? It's yeah, it's kind of a cool movie. It doesn't, it's not the greatest slasher, but just the concept is I think they pulled it off pretty well. Yeah, this was fun, and this is like a cheap pickup. It was when I got it anyway. I read I just read the description, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely worth a check out to see. Cool location, cool idea, some pretty good kills. Yeah, I like Midnight Movie. It was fun. Check it out. Yeah. Yeah, right. Here we go. The Mind's Eye. This is another one I got from Horror Pack, and I love this film. This film, again, very 80s inspired by Scanners. So if you've seen Scanners, Cronenberg's Scanners, this is clearly trying to emulate, rip off, whatever you want to say, that movie. People with psychic ability, like telekinesis, battling each other. Um, it's funny because it takes place in early 90s, like 92, 91, 92, 93, but it feels like an 80s movie. A lot of neon lights, a lot of I don't know. But this is directed by Joe Begos. Yeah, Begos, I'm saying that right. And he's become one of my favorite one of my favorite modern horror directors. It's like when he started doing these, he has one film before this. It'll pop up in the next video because I have it on a different format. Almost Human, and it's basically it's Gonzo filmic. It's like him and all his friends. They star in it, they act in it, they edit it, they produce it. It's one of that, just a crew of friends, kind of like a Kevin Smith, except in the horror genre. Um, and that's the feeling. It's yeah, it's really good. Definitely check out Mind's Eye. It's really fun film. All right, so next up we have Mom and Dad. Um, yeah, I bought this just basically because I heard that it's Nicolas Cage, turned up to 11. That's what it is. Basically what this is um something happens. I don't know if there's like a virus or I can't, yeah, I can't remember if is it a virus or yeah, it just says it's a disorder. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually explained, but something happens to all the parents in the world that is like a flick of a switch, and all the parents want to kill their children. So the parents start hunting their children down, and Selma Blair and Nicolas Cage have a couple kids, and when the switch hits there, Nick Cage just turns like up to 11 and just starts acting like Jack Torrance from The Shining almost. He just goes crazy. Um, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun, zany Nicolas Cage off the wall. There's some good stuff in it. There's a couple good scenes, when the thing happens, like all these parents show up to pick up their kids at school, and they're all getting in and trying to kill their kids, and some of them get in and start killing their kids, and the teachers are just like, "What the?" But then there's some twists and turns. It's fun, man. It's fun. It's a Nicolas Cage horror film, but it's fun. So yeah, I would check that one out. All right. Oh boy, yeah, another one. Yeah. Nazis at the Center of the Earth. Yeah, this is another one of those. Is it sci-fi? Yeah, The Asylum, Sci-Fi Channel. Jake Busey, Dominique Swain. Um, I don't know. You know what? Obviously I have two of these films that I just shown. I like these films, especially I like the World War II stuff, Nazis, anything with Nazis, zombie Nazis. I'm a fan of. Um, I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun turn off your brain. Just kind of sit down for like what's probably 80 minutes or something. Yeah, geez, 90 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, Nazis at the Center of the Earth. You know, it's pretty fun. All right, we go from that to a classic, Near Dark. I'm gonna say this. I think, in my opinion, this is the best vampire horror film ever made. Um, I could be wrong. There's a bunch, Obviously, there's a bunch. But something about this film I just absolutely love. It's a film by Catherine Bigelow. She's a fantastic director. Um, I don't know, man. Something about this film, just the way it was filmed, just the setup. It's kind of like I don't know. It's just really good story, some really good set pieces. What's his name? Bill Paxton is just hilarious. Um, yeah, it's almost like boy meets girl, and I don't know. there's some really good scenes in this. I love Near Dark. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely check that one out. Fantastic. All right, and we have Night of the Creeps. It's a Fred Dekker film. He also did Monster Squad. He was involved in The House. The first movie, House. Yeah, this is great. Night of the Creeps is fantastic. Just a really good, kind of like a PG horror film. Mid 80s. What's this, like 85, 86, something like that. I don't even know. Anyway, yeah, come on now. Um, this film is just oh man, it's so good. Um, yeah, like I said, any movie with Tom Atkins in it is just fan, and he's great. He's fantastic in this. Um, yeah, Night of the Creeps, definitely check this out. It's a good one, really good. All right, and then we have Night of the Demons. Um, yeah, this is a fun one. This is, again, it's kind of a supernatural thing, so it's not always my thing, but this is fun. This is a really good one. A bunch of friends going like a house to party overnight. Oh, it's Halloween night, and there's like demons and like crazy things that come in the house, and they get trapped in the house, and it's like kind of there's like a mark surrounding the house you can't cross, and some of the people turn into demons, and one of them is Linnea Quigley, who, if you're a horror fan of the 80s, everyone loves Linnea Quigley, most, you know, her nude scene in Return of the Living Dead is infamous. Her nude scene in Silent Night, Deadly Night is really infamous, especially on this channel. And she does it again in this film. She has a pretty substantial nude scene in this film as well. And she has like there's a scene with the lipstick, putting lipstick on. It's great. There's some really fun stuff in Night of the Demons, and there's like a sequel. I think there's two sequels to this. I have one of them actually. I haven't watched it yet. I think I have part 3, and I haven't seen part 2. So anyway, I can't speak to those, but yeah, Night of the Demons is fun. Alright, so up next, in the previous video we had Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Here is the first of that little trilogy is Night of the Living Dead. This is, of course, the Criterion version. Yeah, I said in that video that my favorite zombie film of all time was Dawn of the Dead. But man, this is close. If it wasn't for that mall setting. But this film is fantastic. It's such an important film. Like, everybody's seen this because it's public access. It's on, it's on TV all the time. There's 1,000 copies on VHS and DVD because anyone can just put it out. Which is sad that Romero, they didn't do the filing properly or whatever, and they don't own the rights to this. Anyone can release it. But this version is great. It's cleaned up. I like the black and white, and the ending to this film, man, is just so shocking. It's great. There's so many good set pieces to this. It's just a simple horror film, but it's so important, so good. One of the best and most important horror films of all time, in my opinion. Absolutely love it. Now we got Orphan. Again, I've said it a couple times. Creepy kids freak me out, and boy, this girl's freaky, man. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's about like a couple who goes to an orphanage and adopts this girl, and they bring her back into their house, and things get weird and scary and creepy. And there's a twist at the end of this, like a reveal, which is just as off-putting and just as creepy. It just fits the whole film. I liked Orphan. It's a weird one. Oh, and it includes a chilling alternate ending. So I don't know if I don't remember if I watched it or not, but the one I watched was really weird, but good. Yeah, check out Orphan. That's a fun one for sure. All right, next up we have Ouija and Ouija: Origin of Evil. Ouija. Yeah, I've only seen the first film. I've been planning to put on the second one. First one was okay. It's one of these newer, young horror films that, we get a lot of these days, but it was okay. It wasn't great. I hear the second one is really good. It's directed by Mike Flanagan, who's, a really good, again, a really good modern horror director who's doing fantastic stuff. So it's a prequel. There's a family in this film, and like they're growing up in order, and this is when they're kids, and they go back when they first discover the evil presences or whatever's going on. But yeah, I hear that one's really good, so I want to check that one out. But the first one was okay. Um, yeah. All right, Ouija. All right, so I have Paranormal Activity 2, Paranormal Activity 3. Yeah, these films, they're they're good. I'll be honest, these films freak me out, man. I have trouble watching these. Something about I don't know. I guess I'm a softie. It's just I don't even know what it is. They make me jump. Some of these jump scares make me jump. They're not the best filmed. Obviously, they're filmed a really low budget, and they're cheesy. The acting's not great. There's not a lot of good stuff with these, but there's something that these films do. They're effective. They're effective horror films. Yeah, like every time I watch these, I remember when I was watching this one, and I think both of these two, like as it's like halfway through, like I'm just like my hands on the remote, and I'm just like I think I'm gonna turn this off because it just made me feel really uneasy. It like made my hair stand up. It just I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I don't know. They're okay. Like I don't love these films, but after I finish this, I'm like I'm done. Like I don't want to watch anymore because it's they're like I said, they're hard for me to get through for what I don't know what it is. I don't know, they affect me. They're creepy. So, Paranormal Activity. I think I'm done with the franchise. I think I'm good with these three. I think this is kind of like a little trilogy. It's all the same characters. I think after this it branches off. I hear there's some bad ones after. I hear there's some decent ones after. I probably won't find out because I think I'm good with the first three. So yeah, that's my opinion. And then we go to Piranha and Piranha Double D. These are fun. These are my type of horror films, man. These are just like popcorn, fun time horror. It's just everyone's there having a good time. There's lots of blood, lots of boobs, lots of jokes. It's fun, man. These are fun movies. Yeah, like obviously, like just by the cover, double the D's. It's fun. I don't know. I like the Piranha films. I like the original. I liked these. I saw this one in 3D in the theater, and it was fantastic. Um, yeah, these are fun. I like the Piranha films. They're a good time. Oh yeah. All right, now we got Pool Party Massacre. Again, this was in another video I made. 80s inspired films. And yeah, obviously this looks just like the, Slumber Party Massacre. This is a low budget film. I think it's filmed in Las Vegas. Same thing, guy that made this, he wrote it, he directed it, he edited, produced it, he distributed it, he released it. You have to go to his website and email him to get him and buy this from him, and he's the killer. He plays the killer in this film, and all his friends, and I think his girlfriend or his fiance or his wife is one of the victims. It's all his friends. It's one of those things. Really low budget, like you can tell. Um, it's shot with like a handy cam or something, but it's so fun. The kills are great. It's just yeah, poolpartymassacre.com. I don't know if it's still available. I have no idea. I bought this about a year or two ago, but I had never heard of this, and then I saw it online. I'm like, this has to be in my collection, and it looks so cool, and like you get it. The guy like he sent me like this when you buy it, you know, very cool. His name's Drew. Ah, geez, Drew. Let's get his name here. What is his name? Drew Marvick. Yeah, Drew Marvick. Yeah, Jen Marvick. So yeah, his wife is one of them. it's just fun, man. Some of the it's just an 80s. It just feels like an 80s slasher. Like look at this, hammer through the chin. The kills are great, man. There's some really original, fun, gory, bloody kills. You know, if you get past like the low budget shot on video type feel, it's super fun. So definitely check this guy out. I don't think he's made another one. If he does, I'll definitely buy it. Super fun. Pool Party Massacre. Look at that cover. Fantastic. Yeah, check that out. Good time. Alright. Psycho. The granddaddy of the slasher genre. You know, Hitchcock at his most. This is like, you know, the most slashery Hitchcock's ever been, probably. And, yeah, like, what am I going to say about, about Psycho that is going to make people go, oh, really? There's nothing I can say. This is fantastic. I revisited this, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and my first time watching it on Blu-ray, and it looks great. It's fantastic. Um, God, it's just, yeah, it's just so good. You know, like Vivian Lee's is good in this. You know, Anthony Perkins is so good in this. The shower scene, of course, everyone knows the music. There's like a kind of like a mystery, like not a mystery, like an investigation, it's kind of like a procedural, you know. So good. Psycho is fantastic. Um, all right, so we have. All right, let's get these out here. So I have the Purge, Anarchy, and the first Purge. So yeah, I'm missing a couple of these. I'm missing Election Night, and I think there's like a new one coming out in the theaters now, obviously. So I like the Purge films. Um, I think just the concept and the idea is fantastic. You know, this film gets some hate, but you know when it first came out, it kind of you know it had a lot of word of mouth. Just the concept of this film is fantastic. You know, this one here is like a home invasion, but it's great, man. It's really good. Um, you know, you got, you know, Ethan Hawke is fantastic. You know, Lena Headey from Game of Thrones is really good. You know, the kids in this movie drive me crazy because they keep doing stupid things that really kind of piss me off. That's the one thing I hate, movies where like characters just make stupid decisions, and boy, the kids piss me off in this film. But the characters, like the villains outside with the masks, man, it's so freaky. Such a good concept. Purge Anarchy, you know, you get to see like the widespread world of it out in the streets. Really good. First Purge, I liked it. You know, this one they're getting a little political, a little preachy, but again, still concept still there, still really good. So yeah, I enjoy the Purge films. I want to get Election Year. I haven't seen Election Year because I've been waiting to get the Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it. So I'll be definitely getting that one, and I'll be checking out the new one as well. It's like the first Purge or something like that. It's going back to like the first Purge or something. So yeah, I like those films. They're good. Pulse. You know, this is a little. It seems just like you know, it almost feels like something you would see on like TV. Kind of reminds me of E.T. kind of, but it's like a horror movie, like a horror movie for kids. Like one of the main stars is one of the Lawrence, Joey Lawrence. You know, yeah, like Blossom. Blossom is Joey Lawrence. He's like 10. You know, he just investigates. You know, there's like a electromagnetic pulse that's going around killing people in like his neighbor's house. So the little boy goes over and starts investigating, and his parents won't believe him and all that kind of stuff. It has like an ET vibe to it, that kind of feel. But it's all right. Again, this is a super cheap Blu-ray, Mill Creek. Um, yeah, it was all right. Pulse is pretty good. Alright, so next up we have A Quiet Place. Yeah, this Quiet Place was fantastic. There's a sequel coming out. I think it already came out in the theaters not too long ago. Yeah, I'm sure this made a big deal. People know all about this film, but basically this is, you know, kind of a post-apocalyptic type world where there's monsters roaming the earth. and the only way that they can detect humans is by sound. So this follows a family, a mother, father, and their kids, and they're surviving in this world by not making any sounds whatsoever. It's really a good concept for a film, and it's really tense. A long period they're just quiet this whole film, and then whenever there is a sound, a loud noise, it just ramps up the tension. Yeah, I really enjoyed A Quiet Place. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. Next up, we have a classic, Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, this is one of the more, when you take out like the Romero zombie films, this is one of the heavy hitters, one of the big ones in the whole genre. Um, yeah, I love this film. This is great. It has that infamous scene with Linnea Quigley. This is just a fun, campy, cheesy 80s zombie flick. Really fun. Classic. Love it. Then we have Revenge. Yet again, another, rape revenge type film. I believe this is French. This was fantastic. If you haven't seen this, basically, it's a woman gets invited to like a guy's retreat hunting kind of thing, and she gets raped by one of them, and they the people there decide to ignore her, and they try to kill her. She survives, and she hunts them down one by one, and some gruesome violence. And there's a lot of blood. Yeah, Revenge is great, man. This is a really good one. It takes place in like in the desert a lot, survival. Really good. If you haven't checked out Revenge, check it out. Really good. Now we have Savage Weekend. Now this is one I always kind of want to include this with the 80s slashers, because I'm not going to remember the dates, but yeah, see, it says 1981 on here. So technically this could be an 80s slasher, but this was shelved for a long time. I don't know the exact date, but this was filmed. Oh, it's right there. This was made in 1976. It just sat there but not released until 1980. So I don't include it as an 80s slasher, but it looks like an 80s slasher. It has like a similar formula, so it's right along those lines. This is pretty good. A little dry, a little slow. Again, this came out. This was made before Halloween. Um, but yeah, it's good, fun, and great cover art. Love it. All right. Yeah, See No Evil, Kane from like WWF or WWE. This was actually pretty good. It's a slasher film, lower budget, made by like it's right there, WWE. He's okay. It was kind of fun. There's some good violence, some good kills in this. So yeah, if you see it for a decent price, I would pick it up. I haven't. There's two of them, part two. I haven't seen the second one. This was all right. Can't complain. All right. Um. So yeah, what we have here. Yeah. So we have the Sharknado films. One, two, three. This is, what part's this? I haven't seen this one because I'm missing one. There's a part 4, which is the Fourth Awakens. This might be 6, and there's a 5th one. Anyway, yeah, I haven't seen this one. Sharknado, most people know about Sharknado. It's fun. They're fun. I like them. They're again asylum, sci-fi type channel movies. I'm kind of a sucker for these. They're fun. You have some popcorn, sit down and laugh. Um, yeah, it's where all these old A-list actors are go to die. Like there's all these Vivica A. Fox, Ian Ziering, Tara Reid. They're fun. I like the Sharknado films for what they are, of course. Shudder, this is like in late '90s, early 2000s. Starring the guy Pacey from Dawson's Creek. This is okay. Yeah, it's just one of those run-of-the-mill, kind of it was based off, the the phase where there's like the Japanese horror, like the Grudge and the Ring and Ju-on, and then they got like an American counterpart. That's what this is. It's pretty good. It's all right for that type of horror. Nothing original. Then we got The Strangers. If you haven't seen The Strangers, definitely check it out. This is a really, really good horror film. It says inspired by true events, and I think it's based on the Charles Manson, very loosely based on the Charles Manson. Like, it's not the character, it's just kind of the idea and the concept of it, like a home invasion. That's what this is, like a home invasion, kind of like how Manson would go into the homes. And anyway, and yeah, this is creepy, man. Like, it's really quiet, really slow, and it just, the tension builds and builds and builds. And there's a couple scenes, doesn't really show it here. There's a couple scenes where you just like, it's just a character standing in a kitchen. You don't notice anything, but then you corner your eye, you see like this person with the bag on its head just standing outside the window or behind a curtain. Really freaky. Yeah, this is, check out The Strangers. It's really good, really tense, creepy. Really like that one. And then they released The Strangers Prey at Night, which is a newer film, and I like this. It's very different. Like I said, that's more of a home invasion, slow burn. This is kind of a slasher. It just kind of picks up, I guess. I don't know if they're the same villains from the first one, or they're supposed to be, but, a family is at like an abandoned RV trailer park, that's shut down for the summer in the fall. And they walk in and they start, it's a great atmosphere, and they start hunting down this family one by one. It's really creepy. They don't talk, and they just show up. But they talk a little bit. There's a scene here. You can kind of see it. It takes place at a pool, and it's so awesome. Like, this has an 80s vibe to it. This scene at the pool is one of the best scenes I've seen in a movie in a while. It has a great, like, iconic 80s song playing. Lots of bright neon lights. Bright blue pool. It's fantastic. The pool scene, I absolutely love it. I liked this quite a bit. This was fun. Yeah. Alright, another 80s inspired film, Summer of 84. This kind of takes on the play of Stranger Things. This is like a lower budget thing. It looks good though, but it's like, kind of an independent film. It's kind of plays into like Hitchcock's Rear Window, that kind of thing. Like, a kid suspects one of his neighbors is a killer, and his small group of teenage friends, they start investigating it, and they get wrapped up in the mystery, and it goes off from there. It shows a lot of them like riding around on their bikes, like in E.T. and Stranger Things kind of thing. That's the vibe. Yeah, if you can track this down, these are the guys who did Turbo Kid. Another like post-apocalyptic horror sci-fi type thing. Turbo Kid was awesome, and yeah, same filmmakers. So yeah, if you can track this down, definitely grab Summer of '84. Super fun, super fun. And we have, of course, Suspiria. Probably the most famous of all of Dario Argento's films. This is Giallo slash supernatural Giallo. There's kind of a weird thing going on. But yeah, what can I say about Suspiria? It's fantastic. It's so good. Just the style of filmmaking, like the the camera angles and the use of light and the use of shadows, all the bright, like the blues and the reds, just some of the framings of the scene. Oh man, it's beautiful, beautiful filmed horror film from from one of the masters of the genre. Yeah, and this is the Synapse 4K scan version. It looks fantastic. I know there's better versions that have come out since then, but yeah, this looks fantastic. Definitely love Suspiria. Of course, we have the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Classic. One of the most visceral, gut-wrenching type of horror films there is, and it's amazing. There's not a lot of blood in this film, but just the tension and just the rawness and like just like the setup, and like it's terrifying, man. Leatherface is fantastic, really scary. Yeah, there's not much to say. Everyone's seen this. This is just fantastic. Love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of the greats. Then we follow that up with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is quite a different feel from the first one. There's a lot of humor in this one, but this is good. This is a good film. Um, yeah, I really like this. Again, it's different. It's a different film. Um, but yeah, like the characters are great. Some good set pieces in this. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I liked it. Then we get the remake, Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003, I believe. Yeah, I liked this quite a bit. This was going through the phase when they were remaking all these classic ones, Friday the 13th, this, Nightmare on Elm Street eventually got a remake. Um, I thought this was good. This was scary, man. There was some really intense, scary moments in this. Jessica Biel looks really good in this. Um, yeah, this is just a fun one. Again, it's a product of its time, and these early 2000s films all have kind of a similar feel and tone. But this is one of the better ones, so I liked it. I thought it was good. Then we have Texas Chainsaw, or I think it's called Texas Chainsaw 3D. I haven't seen this. This is a kind of a recent pickup. I'm waiting to get the Texas Chainsaw the beginning. I don't have that one, so I've been waiting to watch that one before I watch this one. I don't think it matters, but I hear mixed things about this. Some people like it, some people don't. So, we'll see when I get around to checking it out. But I like this franchise. They're kind of fun. So, I'm expecting to kind of like this, but we'll see. Another classic, John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, man, this is one of the this is fantastic. Kurt Russell, I love Kurt Russell and everything he does. I love the setting, set up, in the Arctic, the cold there. Um, just like the isolation, trapped in this, like, just up in the in the snow and ice, and there's nowhere to go, and this, and the body, like the how like the thing keeps jumping from body to body. You don't know who the killer is, and it's great, man. It's fantastic. Yeah, one of the best of all time. Love it. Torso. Now, if this is a film by Sergio Martino, who's pretty well known in, like, again, Italian giallo director. This is definitely a giallo, but it has a lot of strong slasher elements. It's more, I don't know, it's equal parts hybrid. I love this film. If you haven't seen Torso, um, if you're a slasher, 80s slasher fan, find this and watch it. Man, this film is so good. This this film, without a doubt, has, as I was watching this, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a film that had as many beautiful women. Like, every woman in this film is just absolutely beautiful. The kills are very mean-spirited, bloody. Some of, just, again, the cinematography, some of, like, the way the shots are framed, the camera angles, the lighting, the shadows, all that is just beautiful. And there's so much tension. There's a scene at the end, like, kind of like at the climax of the film, between, like, the final girl and the killer. So much tension. It's so good. Definitely check out Torso. Man, it's I love this film. Um, this might be one of my favorite Italian, like, horror films. I like it that much. It's fantastic. Alright, we have Tremors, 4-pack, Attack Pack, first 4 films. I like the Tremors films, they're fun. Um, you know, and there's a couple more I haven't even seen this. I think there's part 5 and part 6. There might be another one, I don't even know. This is as far as I've seen. But they're all fun. They're popcorn movies. First one is probably the best, with Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward. But you got Michael Gross, who's in all. He's like the character who's in all of these films. And there's one that's like a prequel. It goes back to, like, the 1800s in the Western times, which is fun. Yeah, I like the Tremors films. They're a good time. Next up, we have VFW, which earlier I talked about Joe Begos, who did The Mind's Eye. This is one of his more recent ones. This is a fun one. A bunch of soldiers going to, like, a VFW, which is kind of like a military veterans bar kind of thing, and they're hanging out, and they get into it with some street thugs, three hoods, and they have to fight off survive the night when they're all coming in. Lots of blood, lots of violence. Stephen Lang is just, he's so good. He's, man, in horror movies. Martin, was it Cove? Was it up here? Yeah, Martin Cove, from Karate Kid. He's great. You got Fred Williamson, William Sadler. Like, it's a great cast. Really fun. Yeah, check this one out. This is a really fun one. I liked it a lot. We got The Witch. This is the steelbook. One of my few steelbooks. I'm not a big steelbook fan because they don't go with the rest of the stuff. But yeah, The Witch. This is a really it's like a witchcraft. It takes place back again in like that. Well, I don't know. Is it the 1600s, 17? Like, it takes place a long time ago. But it's good. It's really good. It's really moody, slow burning film. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just kind of very atmospheric. Good payoff at the end. I don't know. This is really good. I really enjoyed The Witch. Next up, we have World War Z, another steelbook, back to back, I guess. I didn't even realize that. I got this from Horror Pack. This is more of an action movie, but it's a zombie movie. I guess I threw it in with my horror, but it's borderline horror. But yeah, it's a zombie film. Brad Pitt's good in it. It's heavy on the action. I like this. It is what it is. It's decent. It's pretty good. All right. So then we have The Wrong Turn. So that's the first three. Part 4. Part 5. There's part 6, and then there's actually a reboot just called Wrong Turn that came out very recently. I haven't seen part 6 or the new one. I only have these 5. I'm a big fan of the Wrong Turn franchise. They're just a lot of fun for me. I don't know what it is about them. I just really like them. Part 2 is my favorite. Yeah, it's just part 2 was really fun. These are like, lower budget. Like, a lot of these are straight to DVD type releases. And the first one was theatrical release. It's the biggest budget with, what's her name there? I can't remember her name. Anyway, not important. But these are good. This one's great too. It takes place in the snow. A lot of blood on the snow, which is really fun. Parts 3 and 5 are a little cheesy, but still fun. Really good kills, Yeah, I enjoy The Wrong Turn. The Wrong Turn franchise. I've been waiting to find a good copy of Part 6, and I'll pick up the other one, the newest one, when I get a chance. But these are fun. I really enjoy them. Next up is a fantastic You're Next. This again, this is another home invasion movie. This movie's so good. If you're not familiar with You're Next, this is another one that I highly recommend. So good, man. Like the lead character is this girl here. She's super strong, super practical, just great survival. And yeah, there's people with masks. They're having like a dinner party, and people start getting killed, and they're trapped in their house, and there's like booby traps outside and inside the house that they have to overcome. And there's like a mystery of why are they doing it. It's great. The ending is fantastic. There's a great reveal. Some of the kills are really fantastic, really good, like blood and gore. Yeah, Your Next is so good. I absolutely love it. I can't recommend this one enough. Check it out for sure. And we have another classic here, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Can you see if I can get that? There you go. Oh, yeah, that's like obviously an infamous. This is great. Oh, that doesn't hold up very well. Let's see here. So yeah, this is, again, zombie. This is one of, there's a bunch of zombie subgenre films. The Romero, Return of the Living Dead, and this is fantastic. But this is a different flavor, different feel, because it's Fulci. It has that Italian European feel, extra brutal, violence. You know, but for whatever reason, Fulci just loves to do eye trauma in his films. Um, I get that to go again. I don't know how I get that to go. Yeah. But this scene is so, it's so graphic and it's so great. Yeah, there's not much to say about Zombie. I absolutely love it. It's so good, so good. All right, now Zombie is also known as Zombie 2, as kind of an unofficial sequel to Romero's Dawn of the Dead. So if you consider that Zombie 2, then we have Zombie 3, which again, also Fulci film. He didn't complete this. He got sick. There's some kind of controversy surrounding this, but he got sick. He didn't complete it. So, but again, similar feel. You know, has that European sleazy, you know, tone to it. You know, there's some good gore, some good violence. It's a little cheesier than Zombie. Um, Still really fun. You know, these are just these type of films just feel, I don't know, they just have a different, distinct feel to them, and they're really fun. Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's part 4 and part 5. I haven't seen either of those. I'll pick them up at some point, but yeah, Zombie 3, it's a pretty fun one. Then the last standalone Blu-ray we have is Zombieland. Yeah, I liked Zombieland. It's fun, you know. It's again, it's more of a kind of like World War Z. It's kind of an action horror film. You know, there's some good, you know, violence, some good gore. It's funny, action. It's, you know, it's kind of a hybrid. But yeah, Zombieland's fun. And the last ones I will show you here are the Dracula and Frankenstein Complete Legacy Collection on Blu-ray. This one has 6 films from 1931 to 1948, and this one has 8 films from 1931 to 1948. I haven't gotten through these. You know, I've seen, you know, a few on each set, you know. I'm slowly working my way through them, you know. But these are fun, you know. This is certainly a different type of horror. Um, but they're still fun, you know. You got Bela Lugosi, of course. And, you know, you got Boris Karloff. And yeah, these are, I don't know, these are fun. You know, this isn't really my type of horror, but I'm trying to get into this sort of stuff more. So if I ever come across it, you know, these sets obviously have, like, you know, the Invisible Man, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, you know, stuff that I'm not too familiar with, but I wanna get more into it. So these are really cool sets. I recommend them for sure. Like, they're nice to have these sets here for sure. So yeah, that's it, guys. That is the my non-80s slashers horror Blu-ray collection. So like I said, if you missed part 1 of this, like I said, I'll put a link in the description below, and I will also put a link to that video up here. All right, so that's it. So stay tuned. The next part of this little series, I will move on to my non-80s slashers horror DVD collection, and if I have time in that video, I'll slip in the my VHS and Betamax tapes too. I'd like to get all of that into one more video, and we'll be done with the non-80s slashers portion of this channel, and we'll go back to the regular stuff. So yeah, all right. So that's it, guys. So until next time. All right. See ya.